YouTube. In today's video, we have to discuss the iPhone 17 Pro Max after 40 days of long-term usage. Listen, this is the best iPhone offered in the entire lineup, period. No matter how much I fell in love with the iPhone Air, the reality is this probably will not be returning, unfortunately, as the public has voted. This is the best iPhone, period. Some of the best battery life we've seen on any iPhone to date. I know that's such the Apple thing to say, but listen, 5,088 milliamp hours of battery on the eSIM only version, which is what I have, is phenomenal. You pair that with the efficiency, the new A19 Pro chip, all of those things that equal the closed loop of Apple just gives you the best battery out of any smartphone on the market, period. This is the battery king. So all of my hardcore heavy users that's just looking for the best battery efficiency, performance, and all of that, is literally jam-packed into this device, period. Now let's start here. You know, everyone was having concerns about the durability of the device and so forth. Now, for me personally, I've had absolutely no issues. And I typically, probably 90% of the time, am using this device without a case. So as you guys can see, I could get up close and personal for you. My device looks phenomenal. This is one of the most well-built iPhones that I've ever held and used. It has a heft and a weight to it, but a lot of you guys love that. You guys equate weight to a premium feel. Well, this is about as premium feeling as you're going to get. Now, some people may be, feeling at odds about going from titanium to aluminum, but the benefits that you get from a heat and thermal dissipation perspective is well worth it. Listen, Apple engineered their butt off with this device. I know not much has changed. Let's keep it real. 15 Pro Max, 16 Pro Max, 17 Pro Max. Now, there is a re-engineering in this 17 Pro Max, but all in all, the familiar iPhone feel is still there. I mean, at the end of the day, people think it's all about the hardware, but really the true experience of these devices and these smartphones is the software. So we have iOS 26, which feels very much like an iPhone. So an iPhone will not feel different until iOS takes on a crazy redesign, which we got the liquid glass going in the iOS 26 here. And it is running a lot better than the previous iOS that we had, but there are still some bugs here and there. I don't understand why iPhones and the keyboards, their keyboards is like the worst. I get the worst typos on, iOS, but that aside, put those little petty gripes aside and we focus in here. This is one of the best and well-designed iPhones to date. Now, looks are obviously subjective. The silver is the more mature color. I just didn't like the two-tone of silver with the white backing. I haven't seen it in person, so I can't really judge it from an in-hand perspective, but I just love that the orange was all one color to a degree. It's a slight two-tone, but it's all orange versus it being silver and white. Moving forward, the hate on Apple and iPhones every year is real. Take everything that you see on the internet around controversy with these devices with a grain of salt until it becomes like a true thing, an epidemic. Now, moving forward, let's focus on the device, right? This is one of the heftiest, thickest bricks in the game, right? Especially when you come from using iPhones traditionally. Just came from the titanium and whatnot. But Apple, they used to have the stainless steel. So I have a 13 Pro Max and 14 Pro Max in the house. I'm not going to go grab it and whatnot, but those had heft and weight. And this is just reminiscent of that. But again, it's the heaviest, the heftiest, and thickest iPhone. But like I said before, this adds to the premium feel in hand, and it's very well balanced. I love the way that this feels in my hand. And when we get into the screens, now this is supposed to be unscratchable glass, but in my true iPhone fashion, I have a hairline scratch right there. So, again, if you are in concern of scratches, just put a screen protector on there. If you're in concern of scratches on your body, put a case on it. Who wears or uses their device without a case? I mean, I know I do, but I always have a disclaimer of not doing what I do. do what you do, the majority, like literally 95 or maybe even 98.99% of people who own this device will put it inside of a case. There's a lot of great cases out there. I made a top accessory video. Check it out. Actually, I did two, and I gave you cases in both of those. Carrying on into the user experience, all in all with this device, the screen is phenomenal. Typical Apple, Liquid, Retina, XDR, whatever they come up with their namings and so forth. But a great screen, a great display. Listen, great speakers as usual, year over year. I mean, consuming media and looking at videos, HDR videos, whatever you choose, looks absolutely phenomenal on this device. You're not going to be disappointed. And if you're used to iPhones, if you had either of these, Max devices, you're in familiar territory. Now, things do get different when we flip over. Actually, we don't even have to flip over. We can start right here in the camera department. This new redesigned selfie camera, which I absolutely love the convenience of being able to shoot horizontal and vertical, all while holding your device like this. And then we get into the rear cameras where every single one is 48 megapixels now. And the ProRes log, all of that stuff, the pro camera features that are built into this device just equals a real pro smartphone camera level sidekick to all of my creators and people who just understand pro camera work. Listen, the things that you can get out of this from a camera perspective, quality wise, all together, the package is so solid. This now is a pro phone through and through. Apple was able to really lock in on this device and really make it pro this year. For those of you who are battery hogs, for those of you who are pro consumer users and creatives, this is the device for you. And since I'm here on cameras, let's go take a look at the camera. All right, now we're on the rear camera, and I'm also using an anamorphic lens, which is nuts. But the fact that right now it's windy outside, it's full on fall, which I love, a favorite of mine. But it's getting cold and it's windy and it's wet outside. So we'll see how long I last out here. But I have my iPhone Air right here in a really nice, beautiful leather case. More on that coming soon. But man, oh man, the quality that I'm able to get. I'm shooting on an anamorphic lens, Apple ProRes log. And this looks absolutely amazing. And this is what I'm speaking to when I speak about the pro factor or the pro element of this smartphone. It's so top tier. Looking on the screen, and I'm pretty confident that it will look like what I see on the viewfinder of this phone. This is crazy. This is just nuts. Wow. All right, so here we are on that same anamorphic lens. I'm blind shooting because I cannot see myself, but I'm in a low light situation now. It's a dark, super gray, rainy, cold fall day, and I'm under coverage, which is adding even more shade to the shot. But I have confidence in the delivery in this camera. And when using tools and just capturing content, like, my peace of mind is just absolutely there. That's why I love using the 17 Pro or 17 Pro Max cameras. Man, they did their thing this year. Tim Apple, you did your thing, player. And yeah, I know I'm glazing, but I don't care. All right, just wanted to give a quick shot of the Taxi Jordan 1s using this lens, this rear lens, so you guys can just see something else. Again, let's go back in the pocket one more time on the leather phone shot. But man, look at this quality, crazy. Okay, so the fact that I'm even able to record 4K 60 ProRes log on my front-facing camera is just nuts. But it gets even better than that. All right, the simple fact that I'm holding my device normally like I would for vertical, but I'm shooting horizontally and I'm in 4K 60 ProRes log. For those of you who don't care about ProRes log and all of that, the main thing you're gonna care about is the fact that you can hold your device in a normal way. Now, this is on all of the iPhones that released this year, but again, the fact that I can do it and I add ProRes log 4K 60 into that, ooh. Now, I just wanna say this before I wrap up the camera segment. If you cannot respect the iPhone camera quality or the cameras in the iPhone and put your bias aside, if you have a bias, it's hard for me to respect or trust your opinion because that is extreme bias. Again, I know I'm glazing, but I'm a glaze where the glaze, whoa, pause, never mind. Anyways, I'm gonna give props where props are due. All right, so you guys saw the phenomenal beauty that this camera array or these cameras produce. Listen, I got attachments. I have ND filters for when it's sunny outside to get the best footage out of them. I have an anamorphic lens so I can get creative, production out of this. I've even contemplated when I go on press trips and, brand trips and I go to do these events, just using this for convenience. That's how good it is, and that's how reliable the cameras offer to the user this year. From a real world user experience after 40 days, taking mad photos, shooting real professional video, implementing B-roll in my professional productions here on YouTube and so forth, top notch. Now, another thing that's top notch in this device, I spoke about it earlier, but I need to elaborate: the battery. 5,088 milliamp hours on the eSIM only, and that's what I have, and that's what I'm gonna speak about. Okay, so I've been wearing the Whoop instead of a smartwatch for a month now, and here's what I've learned. The biggest thing that I've learned is how important getting your proper amount of sleep truly is. On a day-to-day basis, it really affects your recovery and your overall health span. But the beauty about the Whoop is it not only gives you data about these things, it literally teaches you why and how you can improve. So not only have I learned about my bad habits, but I've also learned about my good habits and how important it is to make those more consistent. Listen, you cannot reverse a week of bad sleep with 1 day of good sleep. Trust me, I tried. But if you're anything like me and have an inconsistent sleep schedule, Whoop has a personal coach and a ton of knowledge to help you do better. It literally informs you of when you need to start winding down and get optimal sleep. It gives you a bedtime or ideal bedtime target, and anytime I've ignored that, the next day has been less than ideal optimal sleep performance and recovery. You should listen. But anytime I've listened to the Whoop, I've had more than ideal sleep and recovery. My score has went up tremendously, and that just leads to what I've actually learned in this entire month. First and foremost, building a consistent and ideal sleep pattern is more important than you'll think, and winding down before that bedtime or that ideal bed target is also important. All in all, if I get a good score, a good sleep score, good recovery score inside of the Whoop, I have way more confidence about that day, far more than the days that I have a lower score. And the days that I do get a low score, I find myself striving to do better or improve. And if you're wondering if tracking your sleep data and also slightly gamifying it actually works, it does. So if you want to try the Whoop for free, there's a link down in the description. Listen. The battery confidence I have in this device this year is so top tier. The other day, you know how when you have a max device, you'll charge, you start off one day, then you go into the next day, and you can be lax about charging. You don't even have to trip. You can just continue on into your day. Well, listen, I went into the evening of that day before I even charged it. And I was just testing it. I was just pushing it. I let it go all the way to under 20%. Now, this is totally subjective to the user and their user experience. Every day is different for every user. Like, I have heavy days, I have medium days, I have light days. This day, I was on and off, whatever, but I was doing a lot of FaceTime, and every time I'm in a car, it's connected to CarPlay. It's a lot of different use cases, but I was able to go into the next day's evening before I was like, okay, let's top up. Now that battery confidence is crazy. Again, battery is always subjective to the user and their use cases and how they use it throughout that particular day. I have to stress that. But listen, man, it was looking almost like a 2-day battery almost. And I'm not trolling, because standby time is amazing. Optimization and efficiency with Apple's chips and their closed loops just equals this delivery. Man, oh man. I cannot stress how good the battery is in this device enough. Again, it might sound like I'm glazing, but I'm just keeping it 100,000%. And, I was having my honeymoon with the iPhone Air. And again, this battery outlasted the iPhone 17 in a battery drain test. So, everyone who has speculations about the battery in here being a slump, it's not. And going from here and locking back into this max life, but this is a different type of Pro Max life, boy, oh boy, is it welcome. So again, if you want the best iPhone, the best camera array, and the best battery delivery out of the iPhone lineup, you go 17 Pro Max. You can go 17 Pro if I take off the battery part, but the battery is still extremely solid on 17 Pro. If you guys want to see my comparison and how I spoke about in between the 17 Pro Max and 17 Pro, I have a video on the channel. This all leads me to a lot of realities that I've had about this device, especially with me contrasting it against, other devices in the lineup, more specifically the iPhone Air. It just really made me appreciate what Apple delivered in their lineup this year, because they brought the iPhone 17 up to par with a lot of things, 120 hertz ProMotion screen and whatnot. But it just really shows you the effort put into this device to make it truly pro. The fact that this full unibody design is made to become a full body heat sink to help dissipate that heat, to help extend performance, to help extend all encompassing things that allow this device to really be pro, to help extend it in the field of pro usage. When you're out there on that camera and you're pulling on it and you're shooting ProRes, raw log, whatever you choose to do, listen, it's called options, baby. You have a lot of options when you have this device in your possession as your main device. And I gotta give respect to it. Hats off to you for creating such a great device. Now let's get into the user experience around the platform and whatnot. Now, iOS 26, some people love it, some people hate it. I'm okay with it. Except for, like I spoke about earlier, I don't understand the keyboard issue with Apple. Listen, their keyboards have not been the best or the most accurate. And I know there's a little glitch that has been happening with iOS 26. Like I say, I have the most typos on iOS. And again, with iOS 26, they did whatever they thought was their best at offering a different look and vibe to the iOS experience, but there's still that lack of true customizing and true customization on iOS 26. That's one of those things that we may never see. But again, all in all, like a lot of the improvements from UI experience and just being able to have certain things in there that you didn't know were there, but they were so useful to you and things like that. I love it. I love the development of iOS. I've always loved iOS over years, and I know I sound like I'm just glazing, sound like a major Apple sheep. I don't care, hit the comment sections or whatever. I really don't care. I'm gonna speak my truth. I've always appreciated the iOS experience, especially when you extend the ecosystem. Oh, there goes that word, ecosystem. You darn right, baby, because it's the best ecosystem in the game. And I'm not, putting any additives when I speak to that. The way that their all-encompassing continuity works is top tier. My user experience on this device has been bulletproof solid, outside of the keyboard and a few little glitches here and there. No OS is perfect, but smooth as ever. Fast, performance, battery life out of the wazoo, pro camera features, pro camera applications, just a pro device that's so pro. As pro as pro can be. Listen, man, anyone hating on the iPhone 17 Pro Max in their content is cap, bro. It is such cap. Anyone talking down on this device this year, cap. Such cap. All of the gates they put out up front, from my user experience, cap, baby. But the one thing that is not cap is how pro this phone is and how much you can buy it and purchase with confidence. My name is CJ. I know tech, so you don't have to, even though I know you guys know everything. You're going to tell me what I don't know down in the comment section below. Peace. I mean, what else is there to say, man? This is one of the best gaming mobile devices in the game. One of the best performing devices in the game. The best battery in the game. One of the most efficient in the game. One of the best ecosystems in the game. It's a lot of best of in the game. I don't understand the hate for the iPhone. Now, I do. Actually, you know what? I'm going to keep it real. I understand from a company perspective some of the lock-in and we're going to have to talk about this, but it's going to be in the area of computers. And I know some of that bleeds over into phones, but stay tuned, man, and turn on the bell. Peace.